So I am making the Linden panty thong by Petite Stitchery. Every August she has her bra patterns on sale for $5, and the Linden bra comes with the Linden panty, which is either a thong, full coverage, or bikini style. So I have cut out my pattern, and I've cut my pattern out in the full size rather than on the fold, so that I can, when I lay it on my fabric, I can see exactly where to cut it, especially if I'm just using scrap fabrics. This is my front piece, and then the back piece is slightly smaller, and my crotch piece. I will not be using the band for along the waistband. I'm just going to be using elastic, although it's a great option. So you want to lay out your pieces. Your pieces are going to be right sides together. This is the back and this is the front. They're right sides together, and we're making a sandwich. You have your crotch piece. We are going to be putting that on top. So you're going to have your back piece in the middle of the sandwich, wrong side facing up, and your crotch lining is going to be right side facing down. So the right side of the lining is going to be to the wrong side of the back. So you've got your sandwich, and you're going to sew along this crotch seam here. Your fabric should be a 50% stretch both ways. It should be able to stretch this way and this way. And any kind of jersey is great. So now that you have sewn your crotch seam, what you want to do is flip it open and flip it underneath. Put it to the front. And what you can do then is turn the whole thing over. So now you have the wrong side of your front piece facing up. There's my X. And you can just align it to that front piece. And I like to pin it down so it doesn't get caught up with anything else that I'm sewing. So I just throw a pin in on either side, just catching that front piece. There we go. So the next step, your front and back pieces are already right sides together. The next step is going to be sewing the side seams. And you can do that with a serger. All of these stitches, all these seams can be done with a serger or a simple zigzag. And I find for sewing elastic on, a 3-step zigzag or a zigzag is actually better than anything else that I've used. Even though I have a serger, I will still print my elastic on with my regular sewing machine. So the next step is sewing the side seams. Again, your seam allowance is 0.5 centimeters, so half a centimeter or 1/4 of an inch. So now that you've sewn the side seams up, what you want to do is just open up your panties and just look at that crotch seam. If you've been a little bit off with your seam allowance or anything like that, once it's folded open, sometimes you can be a little bit off here, so you can just trim it up to make it nice and smooth for sewing your leg elastic, which is what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of making sure it's one nice straight line. There we go. Once that's cleaned up, it's time to do your leg elastic. I'm making a size small. For that, she recommends, you can see in the pattern what she recommends for the elastic size. And you're going to grab your elastic and cut it to size, and then sew it into a circle, joining your small ends, which I have already done. And I like to use very skinny elastic just for comfort. So I've sewn it into a circle, and now I'm going to apply it to the leg. Where the elastics overlapped is where I'm going to apply it at the side seam. I'd rather my seams up by my hips rather than anywhere else. So turn your panties wrong sides facing out. There's my X. And for the way I'm applying my elastic, I'm going to apply it to the wrong side of the panty. And I just use clips for this. So that's one side, and I need to find my halfway point of my elastic, which is right here. And the halfway point of the panty is basically that crotch seam. So I'm applying my halfway point to the other halfway point on the wrong side of the panty. And then I'm just splitting the difference between the two. So I'm stretching it out and kind of finding the middle and putting a clip there. I'm basically quartering the elastic is what I'm doing. And you will have to stretch this elastic as you sew on the item, on the panties. And I'm going to stretch it again and find the quarter point, which is right here. I know you probably can't see what I'm doing. So once you've quarter point all your points, I like to use just a zigzag to sew this around the first pass, and then we're going to fold it in again and do a 3-step zigzag or a zigzag. So I'm using fold over elastic to finish sewing off all my edges. I didn't have enough of regular elastic. For fold over elastic, you want your panties wrong side up and your fold over elastic wrong side up. And you're going to be sewing the fold over elastic inside, and then you're going to turn it and sew again. But what you want to do is have wrong side to wrong side and do the first pass and then fold it over and do a second pass. And it's definitely easiest to sew your fold over elastic in 2 steps. That way you can make sure that you've caught the fabric. I did it in 1 step on this side, and of course there's one little part that I missed, and it's really hard to go back in there now and insert that. So I always say it is actually most easiest to do it in 2 steps. And once you've sewn it to the wrong side of the panties, then you can flip it over and sew either in a 3-step zigzag, a lightning stitch, or a zigzag right on top from the right side. And then the legs will be done, and you would do the same process for the top, or you can put a band around. I might actually put a band on this. And just a note for me, when I'm sewing the 3-step zigzag, the edge of the elastic has to be on the inside edge of the toe here in order for it to fit properly. And this fold over elastic, it's not, I thought it was pretty stretchy, but I've done 22 inches for the waist, and next time I would do more. I had to stretch it a lot, and now it's pretty wavy. So I think I just don't like elastic on underwear. I don't find it that comfortable. I think I want to stick to lace or bands. So just for my fitting, I have thinned out this area here. And next what I'm going to try is a lace back, so I don't have to finish this edge at all, with a jersey front with a lace edge. And this will have to be finished before sewing on the back.